Okay, this is question 5 from exercise 8.11. A sum of $1,500 is invested at the end of each year for 15 years at 8% per annum. Find the amount of superannuation available at the end of the 15 years. So here I've got original time is 0. So the first investment is not made then. Notice that the money is invested at the end of each year. So the actual first investment is at the end of the first year, so that's at the end of the first year, so that's time is 0. This is 1 year, 2 years, etc. And we're doing this for 15 years. So first investment here, second investment happens on 2. Now if we go towards the end, 14 years, etc., this here is the last investment. Now I know this seems strange. What this means is that if the last investment of $1,500 is made at the end of the 15th year, and the annuity or the annuity or the superannuation ends here, this last investment will earn no interest. Okay, so the first investment stays in. So this first investment, because it's made at the end of the first year, if we're going from 1 through to 15, if we see how many jumps, we've actually got 15 minus 1, we've got 14 jumps, because if we go, right, that's nothing there. This is 1 year that it's been in. This is 2 years that it's been in, and 2 years is taking me to the end of the third year. So this will be 14 years of investment for the first amount. So the first investment is for 14 years. Okay, the second investment will be for 13 years. Now the last investment of $1,500 is for 0 years, so it doesn't earn any interest. So A1, the amount that the first investment grows to. Remember, A equals P 1 plus R to the end, so it's A1 is 1,500. 1 plus, now our interest rate is 8% per annum, so 8 over 100 to the 14. You have to be really careful here, so notice again the first investment is made here at the end of the first year. So therefore at the end of the second year, okay, the investment has only been in there for 1 year. At the end of the third year, the investment has only been going for 2 years. So when you hit 14, notice this is the end of third year, but that's a 2. This is end of second year, but that's a 1. So at the end of the 15th year, the investment is only in there for 14 terms or 14 years. So therefore A1 is 1,500. 1.08 to the power of 14. Now the second investment, as we said, will be in there for, that's the second investment here, is for 13 years. So it's 1,500, 1.08 to the 13. And we continue. I can do the second last investment. So this is my second last investment. And that second last investment from the 14th, and if it's made at the end of the 14th year, it only stays in for 1 year. So A is 1,500, 1.08 to the power of 1, and my final investment, now I'm purposefully not putting numbers here because we're going to work out what these are. My last investment is 1.08 to the 0, which is just 1,500. So my last investment is invested for 0 years. It earns no interest. So earns no interest. Now, I need to see how many numbers I've got, how many investments I've got. I'm starting from the first investment all the way up to 15. So if I count on my fingers, I've got 1, 2, 3, and I'm ending on 15. So when you start counting at 1, whatever number you end on, that's how many terms you've got. So therefore, this is my 15th investment. My last investment is my 15th investment. And my second last investment, that's my 14th investment. So this is a 14 down here, and this is a 15. So I still have 15 investments. But the thing is, the last investment doesn't earn any interest. And the first one, it earns 14 years interest. Okay, so now therefore the total superannuation at the end is going to be 1500, 1.08 to the 14, plus 1500, 1.08 to the 13, plus 1500, actually I might just go to the next line, plus 1500, so these are all dot, 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 1500, 1.08 to the 1, plus, remember this final investment is just 1500. So remember I can rewrite this, and I'm going to put the smallest term first, 1500 plus 1500 times 1.08 to the 1, plus all the way up to 1500, 1.08 to the 14. That's my last term. So that's my total superannuation. So this is a geometric series with A equal 1500. R, how do we get from the first term to the second? We multiply by 1.08. And N, the number of terms, you have to be really careful here. See, from power of 1 to 14, if I added them all up, that's 14 terms plus this one here. N is 15. So there are 15 terms there. So therefore, the sum of my series, sum of the first 15 terms, R is greater than 1, so we'll use R to the n minus 1 over R minus 1. So it's 1500, 1.08 to the 15 minus 1 over 1.08 minus 1, which is 1500, 1.08 to the 15 minus 1 over 0.08, and we can get an answer there. Okay, this is question 19. Jody starts work in 2012 and puts $1,000 in a superannuation fund at the end of each year. She keeps putting in this same amount at the end of every year until she retires at the end of 2029. If interest is paid at 10% per annum, calculate how much Jody will have when she retires. You have to be really careful here. Now, because she makes that first investment at the end of 2012, I'm going to label these as 2012 at the end. And she also makes her last investment at the end of 2012 as well. So I'm going to start at the end of 2012. I'm not actually going to start at the beginning of 2012. Okay, so if you start at the beginning of 2012 and end at the beginning of 2029, you're actually going to be short 1 year. So you need to be really careful. So if this is the end, I'd call this the end as well. Okay, so in the question before, if you look back at it, we had another year at the beginning, which was 0. That didn't really count for anything. So if they're just making investments at the end of the year, you may as well just start from the end to the end. Okay, now we can see from 2012 to 2029, if you do 2029 minus 2012, you have 17 years. So the first amount gets invested for 17 years. Now this is different to the number of terms. You just got to be really careful because look, for example, if you're investing from 2012 to 2013, that is 1 year. If you're investing from 2012 to 2014, by end of 2012 to end of 2014, that's 2 years, and 2014 minus 2012 is 2. So if you're investing from the end of 2012 to the end of 2029, that's 17 years. If you're investing from end of 2013 to end of 2029, 2029 minus 2013 is 16 years. The next one is the third investment of $1,000 for 15 years. Now then we have our last investment. Now, last investment, now we just need to see which investment this is. Now at the end of 2028, that $1,000 will only go in for 1 year. Okay, now, and at the end of 2029, that $1,000 goes in for 0 years. So I've got this first investment for 17 years. The 2028 investment at the end there stays in for 1 year. Now 1 to 17 is 17 numbers plus this one. This is actually my 18th investment here. Okay, but that 18th investment, so the first investment 17 years, this will be my 17th investment. That stays in for 1 year only from there to there. My last investment stays in for 0 years. Now, when we try to do number of terms, and I always say the first one minus the last one, add 1, that's why this works, because 2029 take away 2012 plus 1 is actually 18 investments. But the thing with this is the last investment doesn't earn any interest. Okay, so we're just going to put this all down now. So A1, the first investment, is 1,000. 1 plus 10, it's 10% per annum. 1 plus 10 over 100 to the 17, which is 1,000. 1.1 to the power of 17, that's the first investment. The second investment stays in for 16 years. The third investment stays in for 15 years. The 17th investment stays in for 1 year, and the 18th investment, the last investment, stays in for 0 years, which is just the 1,000 that gets put in and doesn't earn any interest. So therefore the total superannuation will be the addition of all of these. I'm going to start with the smallest one. So it's 1,000 plus 1,000 times 1.1 to the power of 1 plus the next one would be 1,000 plus times 1.1 squared plus, and the last term is this one, 1,000 times 1.1 to the power of 17. So therefore this is a geometric series with A equal to 1,000, R is 1.1, and N is, now we're going from 1 power of 1 to 17 there. We've got 17 terms here plus this one, which is 18 terms. So therefore, sum of those 18 terms is A, R to the N minus 1 over R minus 1, which is 1,000 times 1.1 to the 18 minus 1 over 1.1 minus 1, which is 1,000, 1.1 to the 18 minus 1 over 0.1. And the answer is $45,599.17. So you really have to be careful with N in these situations. And I think if you go from the first one being 17 years, and if you always do this second last one up here and show that that's in for 1 year, then you go from, you can see counting from 1 to 17 is definitely 17 terms, and this makes your 18th investment or 18th term. Okay? Okay, now Farmer Brown puts aside part of the farm's earnings at the beginning of each month to buy a new truck in 10 years' time. So we're at the beginning of 0 months, end of 1 month, end of 2 months, etc., end of 3 months. Now it is 10 years, but 10 times 12 is 120 months. So he doesn't make that last investment at the end. He'll make the last investment here at 119, at the 119th month. So this is my first investment of $400. That's A1. This is A2, second investment of $400, etc. A3 of $400. Now, this first investment, if I go from 0 to 1, that's 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. So when I end on the 120, that is for 120 months. That first investment will be for 120 months because it's 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. And because I'm landing on 3, as I say 3, when I land on 120, that will be the 120th month that stays in. The second one is for 119 months. The third investment, 118 months, etc. Now this will be my last investment, and that stays in for 1 month, and that's my last investment. Now my first investment was at 0, my second investment is at 1, my third investment is at the month 2 sort of thing where it says 2, so this is my last or my 120th investment. So that's A120. Is only in for 1 month, and there is no investment here. So we've got 120 investments made. So therefore A1 is 400, 1 plus. Now This is 9% per annum, so my interest rate is not 9%. So R is 9% per annum, which is 9 over 12% per month, which is 0.75%. So it's 1 plus 0.75 over 100, and that stays in for 120 months, which is 400 times 1.0075 to the 120. That's the first investment at 0.75% per month for 120 months. A2, the second investment, will stay in for 119 months. A3, the third investment, stays in for 118 months, and so on. Now, this is my last investment, so my 120th investment stays in for 1 month. Remember, the investments are made at the beginning of each month, so there is no investment made here at the very end that just gets invested and doesn't earn any interest. So, therefore, the total savings will be the addition of all of these. So I'm going to start with the smallest one first. Now, obviously, what would come after 1 would be power of 2. And then it all ends on the power of 120 here. 400, 1.0075 to the power of 120. So therefore, this is a geometric series with A equal to 400, 1.0075. R is 1.0075, and N, there are 120 investments. So therefore, the sum of the 120 investments is A, R to the N minus 1 over R minus 1, which is 400, 1.0075 times 1.0075 to the 120 minus 1 over 1.0075 minus 1, which is just writing your denominator. Actually, you don't have to rewrite it, but when you enter it in on your calculator, I just put 0.0075 on the denominator. Now, just to work that out, will there be enough money to buy the new truck? So it'll be no, because they are short by 80,000 minus $77,986.25, which is $2,013.75. So short by $2,013.75. Okay, that's the end of the examples, and I will, when I send the video, I'll let you know which questions to do.